Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Now, if you want to join me on my live stream and everything else, all those links will actually be in the description as well as the comments. Also, check out my Twitter. A lot of stuff will actually be posted there. So we're going to talk about the BTC happening because it's finally happened, and it came with kind of a whimper and not a big boom as some would have actually hoped. So essentially, BTC's having happened just now, and nothing really happened in terms of price. It did dump 1,000 points the day before, but now we're at 8611. We've been dangling around the same price for a very, very long time. Oh, look at that. 8565. Maybe we're starting to go down again. I do expect the price to go down. I definitely, unfortunately, expect the price to go down because the hash rate, I think, actually has decreased. A lot of the old miners have actually turned off because they're inefficient. And if you're not using the new types of miners and you're not getting that hydropower with the rainy season and the flood season in China, you probably aren't going to be all that profitable in terms of mining. So the hash rate might go down, which means the price will probably temporarily go down before coming back up. I would say probably a month or two, maybe in the downtrend, and then probably in the uptrend after that. Obviously, the pandemic has thrown everything off, so it's very hard to actually predict. I actually thought we would be at 14, 15,000 by now, but obviously we're not at 14, 15,000 by now. We're still stuck below 9,000. And I thought the pandemic might bring it down to 10K or so, but we're much below 10K right now, and the pandemic might actually bring it down to 6 or 7K, or maybe even 5K. So I still have my ultra low buy orders in. Now, I don't think Bitcoin will actually reach 2,800, which is where my buy-in is right now, but it doesn't really hurt to have a buy order right there because there's nothing to lose. If Bitcoin doesn't dip to that much, you just cancel the buy order and then buy somewhere higher. If Bitcoin does drop below that, then you get a free buy order, even if you are sleeping right now. So the Bitcoin halving, I mean, like, I think a lot of people are actually playing it up. But the thing is, like, there wasn't really that much to hype about. I think the pump from like 5 to 8,000 or 5 to 10,000 or whatever, right before the halving was actually the Bitcoin halving pumping. And I do actually think a slight retrace is actually in store, or at least a slight retrace, if not a bigger retrace, because a lot of the miners will actually shut their mines off since they can't actually afford the electricity to actually mine, since they don't have cheap hydroelectric power like some of the Chinese miners will actually have during the flood season. And trust me, there's a lot of that water during the flood season to provide them with cheap electricity. So that's the situation actually supporting the Bitcoin halving right now. It was just like a lot of hoopla for basically nothing. The block rewards did decrease to 6.25 per block, but that only accounts for a very small amount of Bitcoin that's actually moving around on the exchanges every day. And I don't actually expect much of the dynamics to actually change very much just because of the halving. I do expect, some people to like, flash sell or flash crash because they're getting really nervous, but the overall dynamic of the market doesn't change very much. I do think in the next 18 months, it will generally be bullish because they'll have to readjust to the price, and it might be very, very bullish going up to 40 or 50K, hopefully, and making the rest of us rich and Lambo and all that stuff. But outside of that, I do actually think that it's not really going to be that exciting for maybe a day or two. And in the coming weeks, I do expect a downtrend. So I'm having lower buy orders set. I'm going to be watching where all the prices are, and I'm going to buy the dip basically. The other thing is ZCash is having a privacy thing, and they have this thing called the ZCash Alliance. They're planning to bring a privacy, at least optional privacy, to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cosmos. I think I actually do think that optional privacy will actually hit a lot better with agencies like the SEC, FinCEN, and like complete privacy like Monero, because exchanges can always turn it off to actually comply with KYC. And the things that require KYC are not going to like complete privacy all that much. You might like complete privacy because that's kind of like the ideal of crypto. But in terms for like full adoption of like large merchants and stuff, I think this Zcash is where it's at right now, not so much Monero. The other thing is that the Shelly testnet actually went live. The Pioneer testnet went live. Charles actually did post to Twitter saying, like showing people the Pioneer testnet. This is the friends and family testnet, so it did actually launch on time this time. And Cardano, I think, is going to launch. If you look at the developer activity of Cardano in the last 2 months, it's been the highest of any particular blockchain. So things are definitely looking up for Cardano. They actually launched the friends and family testnet on time, waiting a couple of weeks to see the beta testnet and then the actual testnet. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.